I'm Margaret Ryan with Clean Skies News. Today's the deadline for countries to affiliate with the Copenhagen Accord to file their commitments with the United Nations for cutting greenhouse gases under this voluntary accord that was reached in December in Copenhagen. And today I talked with Jake Schmidt, the International Climate Director for the Natural Resources Defense Council, about what this step means. Jake, the January 31st deadline has passed for major world emitters to associate themselves with the Copenhagen Accord. Where do we stand on that?
Well, so what we have is from countries that account for about 80% of the world's pollution, we have clear signals that they're going to take steps to reduce their global warming pollution, and they recorded those formally with the UN over the weekend and last week.
Okay. How far is this taking the world in combating climate change? Because the Copenhagen Accord says the goal is to keep warming under 2 degrees. Are these commitments getting anywhere near there?
Well, clearly we're not done. This is a challenge we're going to have to come at over the next 5, 10, 20 years. But I think what we've got is both commitments to take actions, but also the leadership of these key countries. In Copenhagen, these heads of government came from these countries and said, we, Lula, we, WEN, are going to stand behind these commitments, and that's significant in the sense that we need these actions from these countries.
Now, the U.S. commitment to the accord is footnoted. It's conditional on congressional action. What are the prospects you see for action on Capitol Hill right now?
Well, we remain optimistic. Clearly, there's a bipartisan effort going on. Includes Senator Kerry, Senator Graham, and Senator Lieberman. The President signaled in his State of the Union he wants a bipartisan bill, so those are very positive. Obviously, the reasons why you want to do climate policy haven't changed. The needs to create jobs, the needs to reduce our dependence on foreign oil, and the need to solve climate change haven't gone away just over a calendar year. So we're optimistic that Congress will come at and find solutions to this important challenge.
What form does it have to be cap and trade? That's become so controversial. Are there other forms that legislation could take on the Hill that would outside cap and trade that would also work here?
There's a lot of discussions going on the Hill about what the form is. We think the most important thing is that it has a cap, has a firm limit on global warming pollution. How you actually do the mechanics is less important than if you have that firm limit. Clearly an energy-only bill we don't think solves the challenge. It doesn't put us in the right direction, so but we're open to finding the right solution that reduces U.S. emissions.
The President was the one who personally made the U.S. commitment, however conditional, in Copenhagen. What are his options if the Senate won't act? Is the EPA the only way to go?
Well, clearly the administration just today is unveiling their budget. That's one part of it. EPA is moving through the system to as required by law, so they're working through that. There's a number of things that the Department of Energy and other agencies can do to get, put the U.S. on a path to reducing our emissions. We don't think that they're enough, but they clearly have steps that they can unfold.
Okay. Well, a key component of the Copenhagen Accord is both fast start and long-term financing. What's been happening in those two areas?
Well, what came out of Copenhagen was signals from a number of key countries that they were going to contribute towards the $30 billion over the next 3 years. So that's very positive. We need to make sure that those countries live up to those commitments and make sure that those money actually goes to the activities on the ground that's needed. The President today is expected to release his budget, which we think will include scaled up U.S. contribution to international activities in clean energy, deforestation, and adaptation. We'll wait to see the numbers, but we think that there'll be an increase.
Okay. Well, and as far as long-term financing is concerned, what's happening there?
Well, the long term, there's a high-level panel that's going to start to look at some of the options for developing this funding. There's an interest, in particular by the Mexicans and others, to establish a multilateral fund, the Green Fund, to try to deliver money. But a lot of the long-term funding in the U.S. is going to depend on the climate bill, because that's where the stream of revenues from the set-aside of auction revenues will deliver the big money.
Okay. The basic countries, the European Union, Indonesia, Korea, Japan, they all said in Copenhagen before the accord, before it was over, that they were going to make carbon cuts regardless of the outcome there in Copenhagen. And I think most of what's been filed under the accord were the things the commitments that they already said they were going to do. Does this make getting to a legally binding treaty any less necessary?
Well, you know, obviously what we need coming out of the international effort is actions by these key countries. That's the ultimate objective. And coming into Copenhagen, these countries signaled that they would take steps, and this is a reaffirmation of those commitments today and over the weekend. What I think where we head from here into Mexico and beyond is to try to take those individual country commitments and piece them together into an international agreement that moves us collectively forward. What kind of legal form is very much uncertain at this stage.
Yeah. Jake Schmidt, NRDC International Climate Director, thanks so much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.